Welcome back to the Ed Show. Democrats have a rare opportunity to win an argument on tax reform based on basic fairness. Here's President Obama putting it in simple terms last night.
Right now, because of loopholes and shelters in the tax code, a quarter of all millionaires pay lower tax rates than millions of middle-class households. Right now, Warren Buffett pays a lower tax rate than his secretary. Tax reform should follow the Buffett rule. If you make more than $1 million a year, you should not pay less than 30% in taxes.
Well, President Obama is trying to have a conversation about unfairness. That is long overdue. Mitt Romney's effective tax rate for 2010 was at 13.9%. I guess you could say he's the poster boy of how wealthiest Americans take advantage of tax loopholes, which are legal. But today, Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois put Romney's tax rate in context. Senator Durbin said, I think it's impossible to explain why a man making $21 million a year pays a lower tax rate than a working family in my state of Illinois that makes $21,000 a year. In other words, if you applied the Buffett rule to Mitt Romney, he would be paying more than 14 or 15% in taxes.
Is this Buffett tax designed to come at you?
Well, it's designed to come at me if I'm the nominee. If I happen not to be the nominee, he'll still take the 99 versus 1 attack. I mean, he's really trying to divide America and to try and say that Republicans are all about the rich people. Look, Republicans are about middle-class Americans. I'm fighting to help middle-class Americans get better jobs and better incomes.
Pretty good spin, I'd say. But let's face the facts. Republicans set the table for the rich to thrive, and people like Mitt Romney are taking advantage of it. Romney's tax plan would give even more tax breaks to the wealthiest Americans. You got that? His tax plan would do even better to the wealthiest Americans? Since 2006, Democrats have voted twice in the House of Representatives to get rid of this tax loophole known as carried interest. Now, I know you got to be an accountant to understand all of these lofty terms, but the Democrats tried to do something about it because of the alternative minimum tax issue, and there was a money gap there, and they said, okay, we'll fix it. It didn't go over in the Senate. But lobbyists beat it back on behalf of the Private Equity Council. Mitt Romney's old firm Bain Capital benefits from lobbying efforts like this one. No question about it. I'm joined tonight by Robert Reich, former labor secretary under President Clinton and currently a professor at UC Berkeley and author of the book Aftershock. Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Reich, it just seems to me that Mitt Romney's releasing of the tax returns is the right place at the right time for a good political discussion in this country about fairness. What do you think?
It's not just a political discussion, Ed. It's an economic discussion. It's a discussion about whether we're on the same boat together as Americans. I mean, look back in the 1950s under Dwight Eisenhower, Republican president, nobody ever accused of being a socialist. The top marginal tax rate was 91%. And now you have Mitt Romney earning $20 million a year, more than anybody really knows. I mean, how many people do you know who are earning $20 million a year? The top 0.1% of Americans taking in more money than they've taken in as a percentage of total income than we've seen since the late 1920s, and he and most other very wealthy people are paying 15%. We have a budget deficit. We are laying off teachers. Our roads are impassable, crowded, public transportation systems dilapidated, and we don't have money to do what we need to do. And here you have the wealthiest people in America getting off not doing their patriotic duty. It's patriotism. It's morality. It's not just fairness.
Well, it's the old saying, you win the crowd, you win the issue, and you can move forward. But it just seems to me that if the Democrats are going to win the conversation and explain to Americans right now, as everybody seems to be paying attention now to this discussion about economic fairness in America, it would seem to me that Romney's tax release came at the right time. Yeah, no doubt. Go ahead.
It came at exactly the right time. But it also comes at the right time because Americans know they are losing public services. And their tax bills are going up because the people at the top are not paying their fair share.
Here's Mitt Romney saying his actual tax rate is about 45%. Here's how he spends it.
One of the reasons why we have a lower tax rate on capital gains is because capital gains are also being taxed at the corporate level. So as businesses earn profits, that's taxed at 35%. Then as they distribute those profits in dividends, that's taxed at 15% more. So all totaled,
the tax rate is really closer to 45 or 50%.
You got to have a go at that, Mr. Reich. I don't believe that for a moment. I guess this backs up the comment he says people are corporations.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it means, I mean, by that logic, if I pay a sales tax because I buy, something locally, and there's a sales tax of 5% on it, that's double taxation because the company that originally produced it paid their corporate taxes, and the company that is selling it to me, the retailer, is paying taxes as well. I mean, this is ridiculous. Once you go down that line, it eviscerates all personal responsibility. The fact of the matter is, Mitt Romney is paying on his income. This is income. It's not, I mean, whether you call it capital gains or earned income or not earned income, it's income. And it's income from his job. And he's paying 15%. While people, middle-class Americans are paying much more than that. A lot are paying more than that. It's supposed to be, if we're having a society in which we're all bearing part of the responsibility and part of the sacrifice, then how can we tolerate that kind of a tax system? It just makes a mockery of the whole idea.
Robert Reich, I think you speak for millions of Americans tonight in the arena of common sense. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.